Okay, Guardians Yankees.
Yeah.
Wow, we didn't unload our thoughts yesterday because of the stream issues. You were watching it in the most nerve-wracking way possible. You were at
the bar mitzvah, at the party for game 2.
No TV and bad internet.
Right, like it was going in and out. I would have to go outside every few minutes to watch the game. It was such a mess. And as my car was coming back from the valet, I did see the final home run, and I'm like, yeah! And people are like, what is going on? What is he screaming about?
Because many of them were probably Yankee fans, is my guess.
Yes, which was interesting. And I'll tell you one thing. Look ahead to this series. I obviously ran into a lot of Yankee fans at this weekend. Although in New York, you meet people that root for every team.
You do.
And most of my friends are Mets fans. However, a lot of people, every Yankee fan I ran into, I think, brought up Miles Straw. And remember what happened early in the year?
Yeah,
they are on that story, and that's keeping the Yankee crowd mellow is an important storyline in these first 2 games. But great performance by the pitching against the Rays.
Unbelievable.
That was awesome.
All-time great.
Yes.
I mean, first of all, more strikeouts in that game than any postseason game ever.
Yeah.
Maybe a longer extra innings game had more strikeouts in a regular season game, but well over 400 pitches. It was literally history that we witnessed on Saturday.
And a lot of high stress moments in that game.
Yeah.
That pitchers and the Rays did a great job too with their pitching. I mean, they were great also.
Phenomenal. And we talked about how they were a mirror image of the Guardians and that their bullpen was not as good but very good. It was ironic to me that Corey Kluber, who's allowed a lot of postseason home runs for the Indians, gave up the postseason home run that allowed the Guardians to move on.
It was kind of sad in a way.
It was hard.
I wish you would have been somebody else.
Yeah, me too. Because when he was walking
happened.
off the mound in his usual emotionless stoic, you didn't know if he just struck out 3 hitters, or if he just gave up a season-ending home run.
Yeah. Right.
Shout out to Corey Kluber. That's what we like to see. Throw 3 more of them. I don't eat birthday cake with you. Sentimental. Wish it was somebody. Nah, I wanted them to be him.
I'll always have a special place for Corey Kluber.
Corey Kluber
he gave it all
and
here.
Andrew Miller carried the team.
They did.
Till Game 7.
Yeah, and then Game 7. Game 7, first hitter. Might have been the very first hitter. He gave up a home run.
Andrew Miller
to start the game.
To Dexter Fowler.
Andrew Miller threw so many innings, he just fell into obscurity after that.
Yeah. Same thing with Chapman. Chapman's not even on the Yankee roster.
No, and that's an interesting
He's not on
thing
the
we'll
Yankee
talk
roster.
about. He's not Aroldis Chapman of 2016.
No.
Not even close.
No.
But I was still stunned that Aaron Boone, who's got a dinged-up bullpen, we don't even know who their closer is going to be. And they have issues in their bullpen.
Well, that
he would just take a fireballer with a great deal of postseason experience and make an example out of him.
Yeah.
And say, you're not going to come to the workout? Stay home.
And I think that's the point of this series. When you look at the Yankees against the Guardians, you look at lineup, it's close. You know, the Yankees in some ways are like the Steelers. They have this rich history. They've done a lot of winning. And we always assume the Steelers are going to be good. Or especially we always assume their defense is going to be good.
Right.
It's the same thing with the Yankees. We always assume the Yankees lineup is great. These stats mean nothing to me. It was regular season.
Well,
I don't remember what the
I'll tell you in a
matchups
second
were.
why they mean nothing.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
and plus, the Yankees in the second half of the season were not the same team as the first half. Now, they played better down the stretch the last 3-4 weeks of the season, but neither team was the same team from when they played each other then. But ultimately, the biggest difference between these teams, because lineups are close, rotation is close.
It is very close.
But the Guardians have 2 major advantages. The Yankees have home field advantage, which is obviously important. Guardians have 2 big advantages. Manager, and they have 1 huge advantage. Bullpen.
Yeah.
That is the big difference.
Now, we should point out that the Yankees have, if you look at the most predictive analytic in all of baseball, it's the home run. The team that hits the most home runs in the series, I think it's 86% of the time.
Worked for us.
Wins the series. It did work for us.
Right.
Now it's 2-1 for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Couple of numbers, and I'll tell you why that 5-1. Mikey, can we throw that back up there? The Yankees
Those
were
gross
5-1
numbers.
against the Guardians this year. A couple of interesting things that I went back and looked at all of those games. Shane Bieber never pitched against the Yankees. So he could potentially throw 3 games against them in a 5-game series.
That's true.
Their 1 loss, Tristan McKenzie had a 1-hitter through 7 innings, 0 earned runs.
Right.
They struggled against him.
That's right.
And that was the 1 win. So those 5 wins that they're not going to see any of the pitchers that they beat in the regular season in this series.
Really?
Yes. And
Shane Bieber didn't pitch any of
right.
those.
Bieber
They
can't
beat
pitch.
Savali. They beat a bullpen game.
They may have beat Quantrill once. We have
It'd
to
be
look at
Quantrill
that.
in New York, I believe.
In New York, yeah. But they did not beat Bieber and they did not beat
Just
McKenzie.
to clarify, Bieber can't pitch 3 games in the series. But
No, he could. He could pitch.
well, he's pitching game 2.
Right, but if they wanted to, he could come back for game 5. If it goes 5, he could pitch
that'd
game
be 2
5.
games.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
My bad. My
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
He could pitch 2.
Yes. Could
Now,
pitch 2. I
in
hope
fact,
he pitches 2.
I was on the phone with Zach Meisel this morning. We were talking about the series because he's going to be on my podcast sometime this week. We're just figuring it out. And I said to him, what are they going to – because they put Savali on the roster.
He is on the roster.
So Cody Morris as well. And I said, if it comes down to a game 5, are they going to go Bieber on 3 days rest or are they going to go Savali? Because I've been saying for weeks I can't do 3 days rest. Yeah. However, if I'm in a game 5 at Yankee Stadium, I just don't think I can pitch Aaron Savali.
Well, here's the thing. You don't know – that nobody knows the answer to that. Tito doesn't know yet.
That's what he said.
And here's why.
Yeah.
How's Bieber going to do in game 2?
Yes.
We don't know.
But and here's,
if Bieber goes
if he
6,
goes
7 scoreless,
4 innings, or he gets bombed.
then you're not bringing him back on short rest.
Right.
Here's also another potential concern, and it's 2 days away, so you don't know. There is rain in the forecast on Thursday.
There is rain.
If the game gets rained out Thursday and they push it to Friday, he can't pitch game 5.
Yeah.
Because that's 2 days rest, and you can't.
That
do
would be tough. Yeah, that
so
wouldn't happen.
that
for
could
sure.
it's supposed to there's a 70% chance of rain Thursday night.
Now it just depends on how much they get. Can they still get the game in? Major League Baseball will obviously
They
want
always
to
try.
get it in when they could. Couple of numbers that really jumped out at me as I looked at this. Obviously, I look for things that are super close and things that there's huge disparities. Payroll, Yankees number 2 in baseball, only behind the Dodgers, $265 million. The Guardians won just a few games less than the Yankees. They did it at an $82 million payroll. So literally for
I didn't realize it was even 82.
Yeah.
it is now because of some additions.
Okay,
but
yeah.
Less
the
than a
interesting
third.
thing, for every dollar the Yankees spent, for every dollar the Guardians spent, the Yankees spent more than 3.
Yeah. Now, in fairness,
Triple.
The Yankees do play in a tougher division.
do.
Here's
But
the
still.
thing. At this point, that shouldn't matter.
But that doesn't matter now.
No, it
Yes.
doesn't.
You hear him, you got to
That's
play.
it.
Yeah, none of that matters.
And I think early in the season, it felt like the Guardians couldn't compete with the best of the American League. And maybe that'll be proven the case, but I don't believe that's the case heading into this series. I think the Guardians, the Yankees are favored in this series. I think they're minus 170 to win, which is a significant favorite, but not huge. I think the Yankees should be favored slightly in this series, but not by much, and only because of home field. And really, it should be pretty close because I don't see an area outside of home field where the Yankees have a big edge.
I do.
Well, power.
I do.
Power.
Okay, specifically power,
The
fine,
great
but-
equalizer of a 2 to 3 run home run.
Yeah.
The Guardians struggled last series just getting runs, period.
They scored 3 and all of them
2
on home
games.
runs.
And
It was 2 games. I can't read that much into it.
Well, I can. I mean,
Well, that's who they were in the regular
in the
season.
regular season.
Without
They're
power.
not a power team.
No. They don't hit a ton of home runs. Okay, I was looking bigger just hitting
So,
as a whole.
when I said-
but okay, yes, power is a
I'm
big
looking for
advantage.
similarities or huge contrasts.
Right,
Here's the big, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
The Yankees led baseball in home runs, 254.
Yeah.
If you cut that number exactly in half, that's how many the Guardians hit.
Right.
127, and they were 29th.
Right.
So that alone scares me. However, I did come across a number that I'm very excited about. Against the 3 known starters in this series, known starters for the Guardians, and there might be a 4th, we don't know yet.
Right.
But against the 3 known starters, Aaron Judge is 1 for 16 with 4 strikeouts. His 1 hit was a home run. So he's the guy. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday who's a huge Yankees fan, and he said, you better walk Judge every at-bat. And I said, I don't subscribe to that, and I don't think Tito will subscribe to that. I think he's obviously the one guy you don't want to beat you.
Yes.
But based on what he's done against these 3 pitchers, and he's struggled mightily, I think you look at it situationally.
Totally.
If he comes up and it's 1st and 3rd, you're walking him. No question about it.
I kind of like that, though.
Yeah.
I think about it. If you go into this game and say Aaron Judge is the only way that this team can beat you because you feel confident in your other areas of pitching, you come up and you see Aaron Judge and it's an open base, the only way they can beat you is a home run. I'm not gonna slip up and give him a pitch and then it's 1-0 and I'm fighting from behind. Put him on first base.
But he's 1-16 against these guys.
Hey,
though.
this is playoffs.
Yeah, I think with Quantrill, I'm particularly careful because I think Quantrill wins by being smart, by using the strike zone. He's not dominant like Bieber and McKenzie are.
Right, he's not.
Like, I think Bieber and McKenzie, I'm being aggressive with Aaron Judge to a point. Like, the guy is out of his mind right now, right? Like,
yeah.
And the rest of the Yankee lineup is not great.
No, it's not.
It's not bad, but it's not great. The rest of their players are pitchable. So, yes, in a big spot, I'm going to be extremely careful. I cannot you make a mistake with Judge, forget about it. Especially at Yankee Stadium.
Especially if this is going to be your third time in the batting order. If
Right.
he's third time in the batting order and he comes around, I'm putting him on first base. I'm not dealing with that.
And that's the thing, is the Guardians bullpen is so good and so deep that
You might not get through 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, with Bieber and McKenzie, sure, you're going to trust those guys. As good as Quantrill's been, I don't think he's facing Aaron Judge a third time.
I would doubt it.
Unless he's completely dominating and they have a ton of runs, we'll see. But
a couple of streaks that jumped out. Obviously, we knew that the Yankees hit a spell after the All-Star break in which they were terrible.
Yes.
From August 1st to September 3rd, they were 9-20.
Yeah.
I like to hear that.
Yes.
I mean, and that wasn't that long ago.
No, but they played better since then.
They picked it up, but they were nowhere near the team that we saw pre-All-Star break when they were on pace to break the record.
Everybody said this might be the best Yankee team ever. I'm like, are you out of your mind?
Yeah, pump the brakes on that. So this best Yankees team ever went 9-20 over a month. This is what I love the most. The reason I'm most optimistic about this series, and I know in baseball momentum rarely carries over, but we've seen this Guardians team has been able to carry over momentum from the day before. Normally, it's that day's starting pitching. 26-6 in their last 32 games.
Yes. And the Yankees haven't played a meaningful game in a long time.
No, I know that.
They haven't even played a game in a week.
Yeah. So you would expect them to have some
Right.
rust. This was interesting, too. We know that the Guardians run and they build runs, even though they didn't do that at all against Tampa Bay.
Right.
And quite frankly, I was disappointed with how little they ran. I thought they were going to run more.
They have to stay aggressive on the bases.
Yeah, and so if someone would have told me that they're going to steal 1 or 2 bases, I don't even know if they stole any in the series, and they're going to hit 2 home runs, I would have said that it's over. They lost.
Right.
They lost because that's not how they've won. But they find a way to do it in different fashion. More than half of the Yankees' runs have come on the home run. More than half.
Yeah.
And we know that home runs take vacations. When Judge was at 60 and the pressure started really beating down and MLB app was putting out every single at-bat, he went his longest stretch of the year between home runs.
Right.
There will be pressure on him in these playoffs.
No doubt. And
so the home run could disappear for the Yankees.
And there's a lot of pressure on the Yankees. They are expected to win.
You aren't
Everybody
kidding.
around the country.
That's the third factor. It's
Right?
Tito, the bullpen, and the pressure.
They have the pressure, especially tonight, because they got their ace who's not been great.
No,
Gerrit Cole has not been great.
He can be Cy Young, but he can also be just some
when
guy.
he's unhittable. But he's not been great, and he's given up. This might not, maybe it's going to help the Guardians, but he's given up a ton of home runs. Do we have his home run totals for Gerrit Cole?
I'll look it up real quick, but
it's in the
as someone
30s.
who watches the Yankees, he led the league in strikeouts and also gave up a ton of home runs.
Over
It's a
30.
boatload.
Yeah, over 30.
And they have all the pressure because they're at Yankee Stadium with their ace. They should win that game.
That's why Game 1 is so pivotal. Just like Game 1 was pivotal against the Rays, this is pivotal. You win Game 1, now you put them on your heels a little bit.
Oh, big time.
And now you say, okay, don't, God forbid, Game 2 is close.
Yeah.
Right? You just want them. You just want them to think about it a little bit. Then you're able to come home and do a little something.
Yeah.
But for a young team winning on the road against the Yankees, Game 1, huge.
And their ace is gone.
Yes.
And now you have home field advantage if you win Game 1. It's big.
And the other thing too, I'm coming to you in a second, McNuggets. The other thing about the pressure, and I love that you have that as one of the factors because there is no pressure in sports like New York City pressure. When they were 9-20, they were writing daily articles. All of the New York tabs, all of the papers in New York were writing daily articles talking about like blowing the team up, firing Cashman, firing Boone.
Yes.
Because once upon a time, that earlier in the season, they were the hottest team in the history of baseball. And so
they're a spoiled team with a spoiled fan base.
They are a wildly spoiled fan base.
Yeah.
And I promise you that the talk radio shows and the New York tabs, back pages, will be filled with criticism that they'll wake up to for Game 2. And we saw what that pressure during that 9-20 spell did to them.
Yep.
They wilted under that pressure.
Yes, they did. And in New York this weekend, when the Mets got eliminated, their fans are not the cocky level of Yankee fans.
No, but they're close.
But New Yorkers in general, we got a lot of confidence. We're a cocky bunch.
Yes.
Yankee fans are another level of cockiness.
Yeah.
But the Mets were getting destroyed.
They were getting booed during Game 3,
Yes.
even before it was out of hand.
Yes.
They were getting booed.
What do you
If
got,
the
Mike?
Yankees
Mike,
lose, real quick,
Sorry.
if the Yankees lose, they're going to get destroyed.
Yeah,
they
it'll be
will.
fun.
If the Guardians lose the series, we'll all be disappointed.
We're playing
no
with house
doubt.
money.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I'm not going to
that
crush
makes us
the
dangerous.
Guardians. If they lose to the Yankees, are we going to say,
No.
what a terrible season?
Yeah,
We'll meet him at the airport.
We'll be mad and upset in the moment.
Yes.
But when we look back, the Yankees, it's a disaster if they lose the series.
Go ahead, Mike.
I got some Gerrit Cole stats for you guys. In his one start against Cleveland this year, it was on July 2nd. He went 6 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, struck out 6. Both of those hits, home runs, though. On the season,
Did he
guess how
win or
many-
lose that game?
He won that game.
Okay.
He won that game. They won 13-4. It wasn't close.
All right.
On the season, Cole gave up 78 earned runs in total, 33 home runs.
Yeah.
That was second most in all of Major League Baseball. Can you guess, just for fun, who gave up the most home runs in baseball this year? I never heard of the guy, so
I don't know.
Don't say
Josiah
it.
Gray. So
Why would you say it? You didn't even get a chance to guess.
You wouldn't
Listen,
have
the
got that.
box blocks me from looking at you directly, so I shouldn't see
You wouldn't have
thinking.
got that.
Josiah Gray gave up 38 home runs in 24 starts.
Killing me.
Wow.
All right.
One other number
anyway.
that was interesting.
Yeah.
The Yankees are the second oldest team in baseball.
Did you exclusively look up positive stats for the Guardians?
No, because there's some of these are negative. Look at the home runs. The home runs.
Some of them were having trouble with
Yankees
their
are
wives.
a
right
one to
now.
29.
The Yankees are a very good team.
Yes.
They're
a good team. They're experienced. So you could look
But
at that.
so are the Guardians.
That they're one of the oldest teams in the game.
Yeah.
You could look at that as a negative, but you can also look at it as they've got a lot of experience.
Yes.
And this Guardians team, most of them have 2 playoff games under their belt.
But I'll tell you where they don't have a ton of experience in the playoffs, outside of Gerrit Cole, is their pitching staff.
I know. No, well, Severino's been there.
But when's the last time he pitched a big game?
I don't.
He's been hurt for like the last 3 years.
Yeah, I don't know how many he's even.
I'm not
thrown
sure
in the
how many
postseason. Mikey might be able to
starts
figure
he's
that
made
out.
in the. Can you give us Severino how many innings he's pitched in the postseason?
I'm
Maybe
looking
it's
for it
more
right
than
now.
I think, but I don't think it's that much. Their bullpen, like their key guys, Clay Holmes, Scott Efros, who's a
Some
rookie.
of these guys are hurt right now. They're nursing injuries.
I don't even know who they're bringing in to close the game right now.
Neither does Aaron Boone.
I don't think they know.
I don't think they do either. Probably situational. I would
Yes.
guess. Another one that
Luis Severino, by the way, Bolt,
Yeah.
just so you know, has he has thrown. He's not been good in the postseason. He has thrown 32 and 2/3 of innings.
All right, it's more than I thought.
All right.
But
He
when,
gave up 19 runs. He's a 6.75 ERA.
Oh, that's great.
When's
I
the
do
last
remember
time
one
he
start.
actually
He
pitched in
was
the postseason?
awful in one of his starts. This is another
Yeah.
big one that I love. They have a major league the Guardians, major league leading 30 wins in their final at bat. What we've seen in the playoffs for most of the games is that these turn into bullpen games.
Yes.
We made such a big issue about the Indians starters being dinged up before the World Series. But in reality, just about every one of those 7 games was decided when the starters were out of the game. And a lot of the playoff games are decided with the starters out of the game. And that's why
Yes.
I think the Guardians can and will win this series. I think it'll take 5 games,
Right.
but I think they will win it.
And
their bullpen is just, it's
and
for
think
my money,
about
the best
this,
of
Jay,
baseball.
as good as Andrew Miller was in 2016, and as great as Clase is this year, Andrew Miller in 16 was as good as I've ever seen.
Yes.
Okay, so if I had to take Andrew Miller in 16, Clase this year, I'd still take Andrew Miller in 16.
Yeah. I would
Now,
let's
Clase
not forget about Mariano Rivera.
Mariano Rivera is the greatest reliever ever.
Yeah, when you said Miller was as good as I've ever seen.
But Miller in 16 for one season was as dominant as I've ever seen. You know, Rivera too.
Sure.
Rivera did it like 10 different seasons.
Rivera's MO was doing that.
But as a whole, this Guardians bullpen is better than that 16 bullpen.
It's deeper.
Much deeper.
Y'all ain't even
Because
talk about Hedges. This dude is out here
They have nobody
bringing it.
They all are.
We say
but Hench's he was great.
Yeah.
I look at the
Phenomenal.
Yankees bullpen and I say, who do I trust? I look at the Guardians bullpen and I say, who do you not trust? I trust almost everybody. I trust some guy more than others.
6 hits in 2 games.
Like I'm when any of those guys are in there, I feel like they're going to get me outs.
Yeah.
And I was watching these games from start to finish, and I must say, when did this happen in baseball that everybody threw 98? Everybody
for the
threw
last 10
98.
years.
They talked about that on the telecast in Game 1.
That's
I can't remember what the numbers were, but I think it was in the 80s. There were 9 pitchers, I think, that were registered over 100 miles an hour in a season.
Yeah.
Everybody hit. I mean, everybody.
Kluber hit 90 a couple of times in that game.
Run-of-the-mill guys.
It's standard.
The guys who don't throw hard almost don't exist. Like guys like Kyle Hendricks of the Cubs, who was hurt this year. He's like an anomaly who doesn't throw hard. There's like almost none of those guys anymore.
I'm sitting here looking at him like, well, if this guy has breaking pitches, how you hit that? Like, he's throwing 98.
And they do. Their complimentary pitch is like, in the case of Clase, he throws a 99-mile-an-hour cutter.
Yeah, well, that's what makes him special.
I mean, what makes him special is he can blast you at 103 with a four-seam.
Yeah.
And then throw a pitch with a lot of movement on it that's going 99 miles an hour.
I'm assuming that's why they're getting rid of the shift. That's a part of it, I would guess.
Well, they're getting rid of the shift for offensive reasons.
Right.
The numbers offensively are down. But here's a longer-standing problem. We've talked about in sports how 50-yard field goals used to be like, oh, my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There was last night, the Chiefs kicker, who's not even their regular kicker, kicked a 59-yarder.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen over the last 10 years with weight training and certain specified drills that the punters are punting the ball way further than they used to. Ray Guy used to lead the league every year. He'd be mediocre now. The field goal kickers, much stronger. The pitchers, much stronger. Here's where baseball might run into a problem. In 69, I think, they lowered the mound.
Yep.
And they did that basically because one pitcher was blowing away everybody.
Right.
So they lowered the mound thinking that would help with the offense. And it did. Like Bob Gibson, I think I don't know if he won 31 games. He might have been the last one to do it before Denny McClain.
Yeah.
He was like 31-5 or something. Baseball said, let's lower the mound. I don't know what's next to equalize this, but
maybe moving the mound back.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that they would ever tinker with that.
Maybe they can have an eye patch on.
That's a drastic change to a sport that doesn't even like subtle change.
Yeah.
But maybe lowering the mound again.
Maybe.
I don't know.
The league average 243 is the lowest since the 60s.
Yeah. And more strikeouts than ever before.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the game has changed with the analytics. They say just go ahead and swing away. It doesn't hurt you as much to strike out. It's still a strikeout to me. The Guardians put the ball in play more than any other team, and look what it's led to. I mean, they're good, but when you look at their rosters, you would take all 7 of the other teams still alive. If just at the glance test, if you're looking at the rosters, the Guardians would be the last roster you take. Because of the lack of superstars.
You mean lineup specifically?
Rosters. Just look at everybody on a sheet. But this is why we had that long talk yesterday about analytics and how I think it's overtaken sports and I think it's bad. I think it has a place in sports. But last night, I watched a team with the best kicker in football, or one of them, pass on an extra point against the Chiefs on the road with 4 minutes to go. I didn't think I would ever see that in my lifetime.
Yeah, I don't think you can blame analytics for that. I think that's a bad coaching decision.
No, it's analytics that led to a bad decision.
I don't agree with that.
The analytics will tell you that, and both Troy Aikman and Joe Buck said in the moment, I like this decision. This is
I don't
the right
like
decision.
it. And my guy who I go to for analytics, Cleve TA, said that was not the analytics
it was
play.
A terrible play.
Was not.
You have a tie game in your hand against the Kansas City Chiefs, who, yes, they had gotten hot in the second half, but you had stopped them a number of times in the game. You basically said to your defense, you guys aren't going to hold them, so we're going to go for the lead right now. We don't trust you.
Right.
So we're going to go for the lead.
It didn't make sense because if you don't think they're going to hold them, then what's the point of going for the lead anyway? Because you're only up by 1.
Yeah, but I would rather take the sure tie than down by 1 with the Chiefs having the ball and 4 minutes to go. That didn't work out well for them.
Right. No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying it doesn't make sense to go for the 2 there.
No.
If you don't believe in your defense anyway, because then you have to assume the Chiefs are going to score and you're going to have to score again anyway.
Exactly.
So at least guarantee yourself the tie in that case. And that's coming from someone that always wants to go for it. We'll get to the Browns thing with the fourth down.
The reason I brought that point up is because I think in baseball, the analytics have said strikeouts don't matter. It doesn't hurt you. It's just an out. Don't worry about it. And because of that, every team sets new records for strikeouts every year. They're all swinging and missing. It's hard to watch. Now, some of that has to do with the fact that all these pitchers are blowing hitters away. But the other thing is the game is just the analytics have said it doesn't matter if you strike out a lot. Just hit a lot of home runs and it will all come out in the wash. Yeah. Well, the Guardians really defied all of that logic this year. They put the ball in play more than any other team.
Yeah.
They run more than any other team. They go first to third more than any other team. It's small ball to a certain extent. Now, they're doing it out of necessity. They don't have the guys that can hit the ball out of the park. But that's why I'm rooting so bad for the Guardians to keep winning and defying these analytic odds.
You think it'll set the tone for baseball because they'll say
it's a copycat league.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking at this Yankees-Guardians series as this: big ball, small ball. And everybody is saying big ball will crush small ball.
I still think, this is just a lot of players that play that way. The Guardians are specifically looking when they draft now for players that are contact hitters. They are specifically doing that.
And no
That's
other
a plan.
team. And I shouldn't say no
there
other
are
team.
some other teams
Most
that do
teams
that,
are just saying, I'm not worried about your 100
right,
strikeouts.
we're not worried
I want
about
you
it.
to hit the ball over
and
the fence.
yeah, I mean, if you have Aaron Judge, who cares how much he strikes out? It
But
doesn't
again,
matter.
in a 5-game series, the best team doesn't always win. Over
That's right.
162 games,
Yeah.
maybe you can count on that to win more than you're going to lose.
Right.
But in a 5-game series, if your biggest bat doesn't come up with guys on base or you pitch around him, you've neutralized their biggest weapon.
Yeah, that's true. And the Guardians have to be true to themselves. I thought they should have ran more, as you said, in the first series. They've got to run more in this series. They've got to be aggressive on the base paths. I think that's how they won all season, is being aggressive on the bases when they have their opportunities.
And keep it up.
And they got to do that. And they're going to have to, because the Yankees are not going to hold the Yankees to 1 run in the first 2 games.
It's unlikely.
We got to wrap this up, talk a little Browns. Reminders to everyone out there. If you are not subscribed to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring that bell. But real quick, before we move on, we have an exclusive interview with Austin Hedges before tonight's game. Austin, how you feeling?
By Saturday night, I will be covered in champagne again. Guardians in 3.
Yeah. Austin, just a word of advice. Keep your shirt on for the next celebration.
Yeah, do it.
Wasn't a great look.
Austin says
good
no.
for him, Austin.
But I love Austin Hedges.
Steve, by the way, Steve Phillips on MLB Radio this morning picked the Yankees in 3, so bleep Steve.
He's a New York homer.
Yeah. But he's not from New York originally.
No, but he was GM for the Mets. He was GM for the Mets.
Right, but it didn't end well for him. But he's a Detroit. He was born and raised in Detroit.
Yeah.
But
I worked with Steve for a long time.
Yeah.
I would be stunned if he would have predicted anybody but the Yankees.
Yeah. I don't think he's watched many Guardians games this year. But one thing, I think we should all predict how this series is going to go.
I think Guardians in 5, and I think they're all going to be close.
G?
Man. That's a toss-up, man.
Keep it real. If you think the Yankees are going to win, you got to pick them.
I mean, it's a toss. I don't know when I haven't been real. I'm just what I do. Let me see. I think it'll be a close one, man. I think if the Guardians win Game 1, I think they'll win the series.
Well, but let's just go hard.
Let's go. No fence riding.
I'll go with the Guardians in the shocker.
Nice.
5?
All games.
All games.
All games.
Mike?
I'm going to go Yankees in 4, but no shame in it.
Guardians in 5, and we're going to be, you know how we were talking about will it be Savali or Bieber in Game 5?
Yeah.
My prediction is it's neither. It's bullpen game in Game 5.
They could do that.
And the Guardians win it with a bullpen.
Who starts?
game.
Who do they start in that?
I'd go with Hedges. I think he can stretch it out and
Yes.
give them 3 or 4, and you'd want to get 3 or 4 under your belt in a bullpen game.
Yes.
You agree?
I think that's a guy that makes a
They
lot
were
of sense.
so
that's
good
decided.
in the bullpen. I will say this though, and it just TV doesn't do it justice because the automatic iris on a camera can open up to the fact where it always looks like it's a day game. Being I was, close to the field.
Let's explain your ridiculous seats that I kept
I
getting
know.
pictures of you on
Absurd.
TV.
Yeah, I
and
did
stuff
too.
Like that, 'cause
It was
you had
insane.
I know.
People
Everybody's
like, I
like,
see you.
why aren't you with Jay? Look at Jay. Because you were in the bullpen next to the bullpen.
I was in the
Very
I was
visible
in
through
the
the
dugout
broadcast.
suite next to. I'm
That's
standing
pretty
next to a
sweet
piece
right
of
there.
plexiglass, and Tito Francona was standing right here.
Mikey, if you have
I
a
was
picture
literally
of me
right
at
there.
that
Who is
game
the
in my
high roller
seats,
that
I'd like
got
to see
JV
it. If
seats?
it's, I sent it to you guys on your phone.
Yeah,
if you have it.
He was
But
sitting.
No hurry.
He was sitting
here-
on top of the scoreboard.
Here's why I bring that up. I bring that up because if you've never attempted to hit in a situation in which they were hitting from the 7th inning on, it literally is like someone puts a bag over your head.
Yeah.
The instant the ball comes out of the pitcher's hand. For most of early on in the in the late portions of the game, it was half and half. So you see this white object coming, and I basically was 30 feet from home plate. I had a very similar view that the hitter had. You see the white ball, and I'm not kidding, guys. It completely disappeared. You know how your eyes, like when you come out of a movie,
You're adjusting.
Yeah.
a normal daylight, it's like, oh my God, it's the nuclear winter. Well, that contrast, that sudden contrast, messes with your eyes. and you see a white ball, and then all of a sudden you see nothing.
Yeah. Well, they sure didn't for about 15 innings there. I mean,
when at twilight came, it was going from light to dark to light, and these dudes were swinging late as hell. Some people didn't even swing the bat. They're just like,
they were swinging, but it was defensive or it was just a hopeful swing. And I said, unless someone accidentally runs into one, which I don't think happened.
Right.
I don't think that happened. But when it went in the 8th inning, when it was scoreless, I told some of the folks in the box, 17 innings. Yeah. And they were like, no way. And some of the folks forgot about the ghost runner. I said, no, in the playoffs, there's no ghost runner.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, the shadows are going to be so bad until the 17th inning. That's when the lights of the stadium will overpower the shadow, and you'll see the ball the same the entire time.
Yeah.
And I thought it would go 17.
Keep the ghost runner for the playoffs next year or no?
No.
I don't know.
How about in the regular season?
No.
I like it. I'm fine with it.
You like it regular season, not in the playoffs. Okay, just checking.
And I generally
postseason
don't
ghost
like to
runner.
switch rules, but in this particular case, I like it.
My dad was freaking out about the ghost, man. He was at my house watching the game. Hey, man, I don't like that. Somebody got on. I think, who was it that, by the way, there was some tremendous defensive
Jose
plays.
Ramirez.
That was incredible.
Two of the best defensive plays of the season.
The backhand on third base down the line.
And the throw.
And then the scoop at first.
And stretch by Naylor.
The defense has been
Big
great.
guys aren't supposed to be able to do the split.
No, that was
His
pretty
crotch
impressive.
still has to hurt today. It has to. No matter what
And
he
it was
says.
especially because Jose struck out with the bases loaded and nobody out early in the game.
that
I
was
was like,
brutal.
oh my God.
Just put the ball in play
and then the
it's a
double
run.
play, and then
I know.
I ain't gonna lie, Bull. I gotta agree with Jay. I don't know which one of y'all said it, so we can flip flop on this one. But Miles Straw can't put the ball nowhere in play. He probably bat like 105.
I don't care.
But in center field,
He gets
the best jumps I've seen in years.
He gets to everything. He got to a ball that's a guaranteed double and caught it standing up.
I said,
he helped get me to a third place finish in fantasy baseball.
You'll always appreciate
$805, baby.
He killed him.
I said, this guy
got me some steals down the
I
stretch.
said, this guy's he's tracking everything down.
And to your point, they used to say, well, Mickey Mantle got to everything. He never dove for balls.
Yeah.
Mickey Mantle wasn't that sliding, diving, center fielder. It's because he didn't need to. His instincts were unbelievable. He got an unbelievable jump. But he was fast and smart.
Nobody argued that he wasn't a good defensive player.
No, I would all the time while you were killing Miles Straw, I kept saying, Bull, he's a Gold Glove quality center fielder. You're like, he's not. All the center fielders are good.
He's got to hit more.
He does have to hit more, but he takes away runs.
He
on
does,
balls the jump that he got on the one you were talking about.
Agreed.
He moved before the ball hit the bat.
Agreed, but there are a number of center fielders. I'm not saying he's just average.
Yeah, he
he's
also
very
takes
good.
away runs
and
from
he
the
could win a
Guardians,
Cy
too.
Young, but he's not the only great
Gold Glove.
defensive center fielder.
Yeah. All right.
Gold Glove. That's Cy
Anyway,
Young.
go Guardians. Tonight is huge. Post-game show. Do you want to take a second to do that?
Yeah, post-game show, Earl, G, and Bull. We're adding Bull to the rotation.
Nice.
Expect a heavy dose of Adam the Bull in this post-game show.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will
see
be.
it as soon as the final out happens on our YouTube channel.
Also, subscribe to our YouTube page. What are we at, like 15,000 subscribers now?
15.7 now, 15.7.
Almost 16,000 subscribers.
Nice.
When you subscribe, hit the notifications bell. So the second we start the post-game show tonight, you'll get a notification. UCSS is going live right now with their
Hopefully it won't be 15 innings
Let me
tonight.
tell you why it's important.
How many views do we have in the last one? We want to see if we can beat that. How many
For the
views
Guardians?
Yeah.
Like 5,000?
When did you guys start?
Right
6,000?
So you started after the 17
After
15
15th
innings.
inning.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, but at least it wasn't late at night like it would be
No, I
tonight.
know exactly. And tonight, if it goes
7:37 start tonight.
7:37
If it goes 15 innings tonight, there will be no post game.
It'll be 1 o'clock in the morning.
They stopped selling beer in the 7th.
I'm doing a
Bull's
post
here
game.
for it.
Hey,
I don't
for the
care what
smoke.
time the game ends. I'm doing a post game.
I got insomnia. I take Ambien. I'll
Folks,
be
we
good.
will be on no matter what time the game ends.
Yeah,
we
love
will
that.
be there.
I love that. Okay.
And real quick, let me tell you why it's important to hit that notification bell, though. We can't schedule or set the link up until we go live. So you literally will not know until we're live if you don't hit that notification bell.
Right.
Until we hit that go live button. So you don't want to not be notified.
Right.
Or you'll miss the beginning, and the beginning has produced some of the greatest moments in post-game show history.
It's unbelievable.
You don't want to miss the very beginning.
5 for 5 now that the game has been decided on the Browns post-game show.
Right.
While our post-game show is on the air.
We're 7 for 7 actually because 2-1 they won with Jose
both
Ramirez.
Guardians games,
Yeah.
too, yeah.
innings with the Guardians.
Yeah. Wait, well, you guys weren't on yet.
Well, but you
when
don't
those-
come on until the game's
Yeah,
over.
until it's over.
But
Yeah.
at least
Still
at least when as it ended, you're right.
Yeah,
It ended in excitement.
One other thing that I want to point out, in digging through some of our analytics, people that are watching our show, if you know someone, and I'm guessing that most of our viewers do, if you know someone who is from Cleveland, who is a diehard sports fan, but they moved to Las Vegas, or they moved to Houston, or they moved to LA, or they moved to Europe, or wherever.
Like some jerk ass.
Half of our viewers are from outside the state of Ohio.
Yeah.
Which blew me away when I heard that.
Yes.
And I constantly am hearing from people that aren't in Ohio that say, I feel like I'm home again. Because I can watch and sloth around in your misery just like you do.
To your point, Jay, and as we transfer to the Browns here, I was in, where was I? Staten Island, all right? Because I was staying in New Jersey, and we had one afternoon free when we were in town for the bar mitzvah, and we met up, my wife and I and my son met up with my mother. She lives in Brooklyn, so we met in the middle in Staten Island, right? So we go for some Italian food, and then after we went to Carvel. Have you been to Carvel, Jay?
Oh, many times.
You've been to Carvel?
Many times.
Okay, so we go to Carvel. I walk into Carvel, and there's an old dude in there with a Browns jacket.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Staten Island. And it's in New York, there are a lot, especially Browns, not as much Guardians.
Right.
But the Browns, if you look at 60 and 70-year-old guys, I've met a ton of guys in New York that are big
the
Browns
Jim Brown
fans.
factor.
Yes, because they were on TV, and the Giants sucked back then. And I said to I started talking to the guy, do you know about this show? He didn't know anything about it. And anyway, he claims he's going to watch.
Well,
so.
what I would do